Well, this one has been a long time coming. Today, we're tackling Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi. I've said before that there are some shows that are so bad that I pretty much drop everything I'm doing just to review it to get it over with as fast as possible. That was kind of what last week was about. Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi is kind of the opposite of that. It's bad, but it's on the very low end of bad. So, I've been sitting on this one for quite some time. Look, after King Star King and some crazy copyright problems, I just need to do something more simple. And it doesn't get any simpler than Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi. You know how in The Simpsons or Family Guy, you occasionally see badly made cartoons in the background that you're not really supposed to pay attention to? Well, if they did that for anime, what you'd see back there is Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi. This is a particularly cheaply made show. I mean, for starters, it's one of those celebrity endorsement shows. They were everywhere in the 70s, but they still pop up from time to time. And with very few exceptions like Class of 3000, they turn out to be awful boring messes. Kind of like the animation equivalent to movies based on video games, or video games based on movies. Keep in mind that my opinion of the show, or any celebrity endorsing show, has nothing to do with the celebrities that they endorse. I don't know anything about Puffy Amiyumi themselves. But I will say this, all too often it's people who don't care about watching cartoons, signing over their rights to corporate stooges who don't care about making cartoons. It just ends up being an excuse to indoctrinate younger kids into their brand. Yeah, it's morally skeevy, but it's better than other things that kids could be exposed to. Honestly, I didn't know which episode to pick for this review. They're all 7 minutes long, and most of them are on an equal level of bad. And they all have essentially the same plot. Ami and Yumi have a problem, they can't solve it, then they solve it with rock music. When you compare it to something like Class of 3000, not only do you have many more genres of music than rock or J-pop, although I can't play any of them because copyright bullshit, but the music is usually more of a backdrop to the problem than an actual solution. Now with 7-minute cartoon episodes, the shorts generally rely on one gag. So if that gag isn't funny, the episode tends not to be funny. And most of the gags that this show relies on aren't funny. Yumi was abducted as a child and trained to sing opera. Okay. I mean, look at this episode. Yumi starts sneezing, and their mentor Kaz comes to the conclusion that she's allergic to Ami. Now I want you to guess exactly how this episode ends. If you've seen any other sudden allergies plot, you know how it ends. That's right, it was actually caused by a soap or cosmetic. One episode has Ami and Yumi getting abducted by aliens, and the entire episode is the aliens just messing with them. There's no real plot, and they only escape through the power of music. You see, apparently the alien homeworld was so incredibly stupidly boring. It's definitely going to be an interesting day when the aliens actually arrive, and they see all of our aliens taking over Earth media depicting them. The episode I'm going to review today is about a treasure map, because this is the only one I've seen so far that actually seems to have a fucking plot. Like My Life Me, this show tries to use and parody the conventions of anime. This time, however, it seems like it's only used to keep costs down as low as possible. As Flash took over television animation, so many cartoons at that time were looking this incredibly cheap. I see that they were at least trying for some kind of style, but it doesn't look good. It looks very minimalist, and for a gag-based cartoon like this, that wasn't the wisest option. It looks cheap. There are many frames where only mouths are moving, for instance. Anime can get away with that because the backgrounds look very expensive and very detailed. You could see why they wouldn't want to draw it 1,000 different times. This, however, I could probably draw each of these individual frames. So on to the episode. It starts with a tour bus driving through what seems to be the Nevada desert. They go on talking about how they're the greatest friends ever.